Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Witness and I'm your host, Quatrina Hossain. Well, a lot of political events have been taking place in the week before Eid, some relative quiet on Eid itself, but the storm unleashed by Zulfiqar Mirza, the former Sindh minister, has created ripples that continue to extend across the country. And the latest salvo now fired comes from Senator Mir Lashkari Raisani, who is also from the People's Party representing Balochistan. And today he had a press conference in which he said that the Interior Minister Rahman Malik had resorted to violence for restoring peace in Quetta, and at the same time talked about holding dialogue with militants when it came to Karachi. Mr. Raisani also asked the judiciary to take action against all those people whom Dr. Mirza had accused of conspiring to destabilize Pakistan. And interestingly, in a related development, which you may already have heard in the news, that an application has been filed in the Secretariat Police Station in Islamabad for the registration of a first information report against Mr. Rahman Malik regarding Dr. Mirza's allegations. And the applicant has further said that the Federal Interior Minister had committed treason by offering American agencies access to the NADRA database and demanded an inquiry. Now, of course, all these issues raise more questions than providing us with answers. And even as we speak, the Supreme Court today held a hearing into the situation in Karachi and ordered the Inspector General of Police in Sindh to act without any discrimination whatsoever. He said that the police should take action without any political pressure or any other influences whatsoever. That is something that the Supreme Court may be demanding, but how easy is it going to be to deliver that on the ground? Over the few Eid holidays, 6 people were killed. Another couple of bodies have been found today in Karachi. So it's not like the violence has ended. It continues, but on a lower level than what we saw the forces that were unleashed in the previous month. Now, what exactly does this mean for the Pakistan People's Party when senior People's Party leaders are now speaking out publicly against the government, particularly the Federal Interior Minister? Well, allow me to introduce my guest here in the studio. My first guest is Mr. Athar Minallah. He's an advocate of the Supreme Court of Pakistan, well known to everybody who followed the lawyers' movement. Joining me from Lahore is going to be Mr. Naseer Bhutta, an MNA from the Pakistan Muslim League N. And we are keeping, of course, a chair right here in the studio for Mr. Qamar Zaman Kaira, representing the Pakistan People's Party. He's a former Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting, and currently he is the Information Secretary of the Pakistan People's Party and also an MNA. Mr. Kaira has been delayed, but we will, of course, ask him to join us as soon as he can get here. But Mr. Minallah, I want to begin with you. The most obvious question now is that everything that I'm hearing now from political party leaders, especially the PPP, is that let the Supreme Court decide the Karachi situation. But the Supreme Court is not a law enforcement agency. What can the Supreme Court really do to resolve the problem in Karachi?
See, first of all, it's very unfortunate that in an Islamic Republic of Pakistan, during the month of Ramadan, innocent people were being mercilessly killed in Karachi. And the life and property, because I think the most important fundamental right of any citizen is the right to life.
Absolutely.
Which is Article 9. And Supreme Court has a certain specific jurisdiction and role as defined in the Constitution. And one of its most important role is to protect the fundamental rights. It is the custodian of the fundamental rights. And that probably was the reason why it took notice of the unending and merciless killings in Karachi. And total failure of the state institutions. Now, you see, it appears as if no other institution in the country is functioning. Had the other institutions been functioning, the matter would not have gone to the Supreme Court.
Exactly.
It is also alarming that all political parties, rather than going to the Parliament, rather than, if you recall in Britain, when there was a law and order situation, the first thing that they did was to call an urgent meeting of the Parliament. They suspended all the, they were on vacations. They suspended their leaves and they called the Parliament's meeting, and that is how they dealt with it.
And courts worked 24 hours round the clock to
Exactly.
prosecute,
Now,
and here it just seems like nobody is punished. What my question really is that the Supreme Court, what can they really do to try and resolve the problems in Karachi?
well, as the Chief Justice had said, it's a wake-up call for all the institutions.
Okay.
And that is exactly what is happening. Other than this, it cannot be used as a political forum to resolve political issues. But certainly, as far as the protection of the lives and properties are concerned, that is a fundamental right, and that is a matter of public importance. And the Supreme Court has taken notice, and to that extent, the Supreme Court is certainly making the government, the provincial government, accountable for the killings and their failure to protect the
And
people.
a quick question here, do you think the Supreme Court will summon Zulfiqar Mirza? Because he said that if Supreme Court calls me, I will go.
This again is very alarming. The allegations made by Mr. Zulfiqar Mirza, and the most important thing that he has mentioned is that he brought this to the notice of the President, of the Prime Minister, and of other higher
the
officers.
ISI chief, the
You
chief
see,
of army staff.
is there any need after that for the Supreme Court to give an order? Is there any need for someone making these allegations for him to go to the Supreme Court and take refuge of the Supreme Court? It is for the state of Pakistan to have acted. If he is wrong, then he is to be punished. But if, you see, it is very difficult at this point of time to say how he could be wrong, because he was part of the government, he was holding a very important portfolio, and above all, in the month of Ramadan, he kept a Quran on his head, and he made a statement, and a statement which I don't know why everyone else has completely ignored. You see, if someone is talking about Indian connections, if someone is talking or alleging about someone breaking up Pakistan, how these allegations could be taken so lightly, that is what amazes
by just disassociating themselves doesn't really resolve the problems. Let's go on over to Lahore, and I'm joined by Mr. Naseer Bhutta. Mr. Bhutta, it's been an eventful few days in Pakistan's current political scenario. How do you see the situation developing right now with the continuing war of words between the Federal Interior Minister, Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza, and now Senator Raisani? Where do you see the situation going?
I think this is a proxy exercise and a proxy war. It's not a war in fact. And this is the war of the words as well. Because at the same time, when you see Zulfiqar Mirza had a press conference, in that particular press conference, in the same breath, he was praising Zardari, and simultaneously he was criticizing Rahman Malik, and he was equally posing threats to MQM. I don't think that this is a kind of serious conference in a way which could have been taken for granted, that some sort of some logical conclusion could have been drawn from this, because I still I believe that
a fixed fight. Are you saying that this is like a fixed fight?
Yes, this is a fixed match, this is a fixed fight, and everything is well planned, and this was a remotely controlled press conference. There is nothing special in that, only for the reason that the allegations having been leveled. Supposing if there is something special, then the allegations leveled in the press conference would have alerted and would have created alarm in the ranks of the government, and would have created alarm in the ranks of the power corridor. But you know, see,
Mr. Bhutta, I have to interrupt you here because a very important point. If this is a fixed fight, then why would Zulfiqar Mirza, presumably as you're speculating that he is acting on the orders of the presidency, why would he then also attack Rahman Malik? I mean, if the government doesn't like Rahman Malik, all they have to do is remove him. Why would they have to resort to this kind of fixed fight?
Absolutely, I don't think any kind of significance can be attached that if he is attacking Rahman Malik, because I don't think that any difference is caused if he is abusing Rahman Malik, if he is accusing Rahman Malik. in his own style and his own language. But the moment when somebody asks him a question about the dignity of the presidential office, he starts praising that particular office simultaneously in the same breath. So I don't think Rahman Malik could be equated with the rest of the allegations, because the way he has gone for the conducting the press conference and alleging something and then accusing, then doing something extraordinary by placing Quran Sharif at his head, I don't think something will be there, and neither because this is in fact a situation where the Supreme Court has been asked to play a role.
Okay, Mr. Bhutta, I'm going to interrupt you just for a minute here, because I'm being joined by Senator Mir Lashkari Raisani from the Pakistan People's Party, who held that press conference today. Senator Raisani, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. You also had strong words against Rahman Malik today, saying that he was trying to destabilize Balochistan. Senator Raisani, you're also from the Pakistan People's Party, a party stalwart. What's going on within the ranks of your party? Senator Raisani, can you hear me? I'm afraid we seem to have lost the connection to Senator Raisani. We'll try and get him back on the phone. Mr. Bhutta, you were saying that the Supreme Court is taking suo motu notice. Of course, you're hearing the situation in Karachi. But what did you make of Senator Raisani's statement that Rahman Malik was trying to destabilize Balochistan?
I think that if something is being done at the part of Rahman Malik, that again will not be at the part of Rahman Malik, because Rahman Malik is not such a significant in a way, because everything has been remotely controlled. And in this way, if supposing Rahman Malik goes to settle something or to give kind of assistance in the performance of the government affairs, I don't believe that the Rahman Malik is having any good track record pertaining to dealing with this all affairs happening in Pakistan, happening in Karachi, happening in Balochistan, Quetta and everywhere. Because whatever happens in Karachi, whatever happens in Quetta, or whatever happens in Peshawar, that he don't have the sense of understanding that in what way he has to deal all these affairs on each and every moment. He says that of course this will be settled all right, and this will be done all right of a passage of time, and the moment he issues a statement, then of course there is any reaction on that.
Yeah, Mr. Bhutta, I'm afraid I'm going to have to interrupt you once again. I apologize for that, because it's time for me to take a short commercial break. But before the break, I want to point out that Mr. Qamar Zaman Kaira, former Federal Minister, MNA from the Pakistan People's Party, and currently the Information Secretary of the Pakistan People's Party, has joined us. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaira. When we return, we will of course talk to Senator Raisani as well as Mr. Kaira, so don't go anywhere, please. Welcome back to Witness. Before the break, Pakistan Muslim League ends. Mr. Naseer Bhutta made the strong case that the entire situation that we are seeing between Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza and Mr. Rahman Malik is a fixed fight, or what in Urdu is referred to as Noora Kushti. So let's talk to Mr. Kaira about this. Mr. Kaira, Mr. Bhutta strongly believes that the direction for all this, it was remote controlled press conference that Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza had. But today, surely it must be disturbing for you that Senator Lashkari Raisani has also jumped into the fray and said that, first of all, Mr. Rahman Malik is sabotaging efforts to restore peace in Balochistan. And along with that, several other things that have come up have left us very disturbed. First of all, also, did Mr. Rahman Malik actually agree or offer the NADRA database to the American agencies? I mean, somebody's filed a case today against Mr. Rahman Malik in the Islamabad Secretariat Police Station.
Thank you, Quatrina. As far as Rahman Malik's this issue is concerned, or Lashkari Raisani, my brother, he has said something about Rahman Malik or the data or the peace efforts in Balochistan. But let me first comment on the Karachi situation and Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza and Rahman Malik's issue. As you told, unfortunately I couldn't hear all those arguments which Mr. Naseer Bhutta, my very learned friend, he said. right from the day one, when Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza appeared in the press, it was a very lively press conference because all the media covered it from point 1 to point Z. So
it was pretty unforgettable, and I don't think any channel could have cut away from it.
In my political career, I have never seen such a long press conference and media, all the channels covering it from point 1 to point Z. Okay, and then a certain channel which normally doesn't dare to show such programs or have a marathon program for 2 hours or 2.5 hours and getting and there was in that program as well as in the other programs on the media, it was a planned story or planted story, which I will say. In it, I believe it. I may be wrong.
Okay, planted.
It
What
was,
planted?
I
What
believe
planted?
Planted
What was
was
planted?
that there was a theme that all this is just Noora Kushti. It is all pushed by or planned by the president, and he has launched Zulfiqar Mirza, and he is not saying anything on his own behalf. It is planned. All the things are planned. But if Zulfiqar Mirza Sahab is accusing MQM or he is accusing Rahman Malik, and the day before yesterday he said that all those people should go to the president and ask him why he is protecting Rahman Malik, who is I don't want to name all those things which he said for Rahman Malik, but he accused the president. So if it is a planted story or it's a planned story or it's a remote control story, whether
Mr. Bhutta was making that argument. I'm asking you.
I'm just this is not only Mr. Naseer Bhutta, but
a lot of people.
And especially a lot of people from media, they discuss this story. Do you believe that President will put himself under the fire? That all the questions come to him, why he is having good relations and why he want to keep good relations with the MQM, or why he is keeping with them or in that sensitive position. So all those questions goes to that office. So this is absolutely a baseless
I buy that
conception.
argument of yours. I buy that argument, but my question is, what is your party and your government doing about Dr. Mirza's allegations? Simply to say we disassociate him, we don't have him the party anymore, we've accepted his resignations. That doesn't take away what he said.
Quatrina, as far as Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza's allegations are concerned, that has two parts basically. One is his personal assumptions or personal observations regarding A, B, C, D, a party or a person. And the second part is alleged with some documents.
Yes.
Of course, the government is analyzing those documents. We are going to hold a Central Executive Committee's meeting. Of course, People's Party will seriously look into it.
Okay.
As far as the government is concerned, what government want to do or what government section is, of course, you should ask some government representative. Of course, I am representing my party, but my party is taking its very, very clear line.
Your party is the government.
Of course, but we are a coalition government.
Agreed.
So, as far as this thing is concerned, I assure you, most of the allegations are that such persons were released. We have allegations against them. All those cases which were registered against ABCD, those cases were sent to the courts. And if the cases are under the trial, and the Interior Minister himself
the issue is that
has responded.
Dr. Mirza is saying those people they were arrested, but they were released.
Quatrina, this is all mere allegation, and Rahman Malik himself has categorically denied all those charges. The third thing was that Rahman Malik, regarding WikiLeaks, that he offered something, Nadra database to some American agencies themselves, and Nadra and Interior Ministry, they have categorically denied that it was never asked by Americans, and nor we anytime we offered these things. This is very clear from the Rahman Malik.
So Nadra, the database from Nadra is not in the hands of the Americans. Mr. Minallah, let me ask you another question. Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza has himself acknowledged that he issued 300,000 arms licenses, and some of his statements now have been very scary, in which he says for every innocent person who is killed, 5 terrorists will be killed. People needed to be armed, and the arms licenses are not exactly for handguns. They are for heavy machine guns and really heavily weaponry that citizens normally in any country don't carry. How seriously do you think the government is addressing these issues?
Well, I'm very confused and I'm amazed as well. After listening to my friend Kaira Saab and Bhutta Saab as well, both represent two very major political parties, and they are taking, you see, the reason why the press conference was so important, that a person holding such important portfolio, having access to the president's house, and having access in the government, having personal relationship with the president himself, is making an allegation of outside forces conspiring to break Pakistan, and that people within Pakistan being involved, and everything is being taken so lightly. This is very amazing for me. It's a failure of every political party, and unfortunately people who have struggled for democracy, it is a failure of democracy today that instead of calling an urgent meeting of the parliament, either they should now punish the person who held the press conference for making such allegations, or the parliament has to act. It is not something that is to be taken so lightly. And you see, throughout, irrelevant issues are being raised. For me, the issue whether Rahman Malik is a stooge of the foreign agencies, as alleged by a person from the same political party, and now seconded by another very important person. Now, these are not very lightly, these are things that cannot be taken lightly. For me as a Pakistani, I should have seen the parliament having risen to the occasion, having either punished, and it is every political parties, they as escapists are now filing applications for becoming parties in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is not a political forum, and the political forum, they are intentionally making the political forums inactive. No one is demanding that a British citizen who holds the control of Karachi should come back because Karachi needs peace. The other political party, no major political head, neither of ANP nor of People's Party, is going and sitting in Karachi. They should be sitting in Karachi. It is a political issue.
Absolutely.
Every political party is being alleged of conspiring, and a person holding one of the most important portfolio has made certain allegations.
Absolutely.
He
Let
may be
Mr. Kaira
absolutely
respond to
wrong.
that. Mr. Kaira, I think Mr. Minallah does have a point. It looks like everybody is taking this way too lightly.
Quatrina, as I earlier mentioned, yes, there are allegations, but there are certain allegations. The people, suppose you say me, he is a corrupt man. This is your personal allegation on me. So I have the right to go to the court that let Quatrina prove her allegation, otherwise she should be punished. This is my own prerogative. Rahman Malik, Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza's allegations, as I earlier mentioned, there are two parts of that. One thing is that ABC is liar, he is not trustworthy, he is ABC.
That's fine. Let's put all that aside.
Issue.
He was accused of being a traitor by Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza. That's the word he used. He was also, let me also add, the most disturbing element of the whole thing was when he said that he was with Mr. Pir Mazharul Haq, a senior member of your party, when they met with Mr. Athar Hussain in London, where Mr. Athar Hussain told him that there was a conspiracy to break up Pakistan. Has anybody from your party asked Pir Mazharul Haq if this conversation took place?
Definitely, the party would have asked, and they have asked him, but a proper forum for that is Prime President. Right after that, an already planned program, he has to proceed for China and Russia or
Pir Mazharul Haq.
No, the President, because the President will hold the Central Executive Committee's meeting, and in that meeting we will discuss all those things.
When will this be, Mr. Kaira? See, we feel that the government has no sense of urgency.
Let me explain. Very soon we will hold it, but I can't give you the date today.
After the President's return?
Yes, of course it will be, because that will be chaired by the President as co-chairperson. But allegations on Mr. Athar Hussain, of course it's a very serious nature's allegation. The Parliament has been summoned on 12th. Of course you have to give specific time or certain time for the Parliament. The opposition wanted an early session of the Parliament, but it is already decided, already
You think the circumstances don't warrant an emergency session of Parliament?
I don't think so. There's the need of urgently parliamentary session, but the government has to look into it, that a person's allegation should be collaborated with the other things. It is that allegation is that the Americans wanted this is his quotation.
Yes, that Mr. Altaf Hussain
said,
Mirza, Dr. Mirza quoting Altaf Hussain.
That he said that Americans want to break Pakistan. Now, the government, sitting government, should have a reasonable doubt, a reasonable otherwise collaboration, that this statements collaborates with something else. Otherwise, yes, it's a serious allegation. The accused party as well as the government will look into it, the party will look into it at its own forum. The party, as far as the party is concerned, party is not a judicial forum that we convict someone and we send it to the jail, but the government, and of course, now come to the court. Yes, Supreme Court has taken so much notice, not the government or any individual has gone to the Supreme Court.
Of the killings
Supreme
in Karachi.
Court, yes, killings in Karachi, the peace situation in Karachi. Now, the allied issues are coming over there, that is a judicial forum, but the judicial forum is working judiciously, and the people are coming that we want to give some certain informations. And Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza himself has offered that the Supreme Court should call me and I will present myself in the court.
Does that absolve your government from
We are not saying this. We don't say that our obligation is over
by
this statement.
Is going to rejoin the coalition today?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I know that the President spoke with Mr. Altaf Hussain earlier today. I know that Mr. Khurshid Shah has met with Governor Ishatul Ibad. When do you expect this announcement?
Quatrina, we are trying, because this is our serious resolve, our leader's resolve, and she gave, Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto, Shaheed gave us the philosophy of reconciliation. We believe that the tolerance and peace and reconciliatory politics is the only solution to move forward and get out of this crisis. Otherwise, if we fight with the political forces and that we don't accept the mandate of different political forces, this will not solve the problem.
Okay.
You say that, say, a person says that, okay, kill 10,000 people and that will resolve the issue. Whether a government can do it? No. This is not the way forward.
That's where I disagree totally with Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza, along with
like
a lot of other
ABCD.
things. Yeah.
So, as far as we are concerned, yes, we are seriously considering it, but now the matter is in the court. Yes, if the government is not serious and we are trying to hide something, then the court will of course give its verdict. And as far as ourself is concerned, our party's self is concerned, when we decided that we will go for across the board operation, we started operation from Liari, which is considered as the hub of People's Party. So Pakistan People's Party or the government, we offered ourselves that, okay, let's start from our area and then go to the other areas, and that is a targeted operation, and the law enforcement agencies has to search and wash all those elements.
Absolutely. Now, I'm quickly, because it's time for me to take a break, but Mr. Bhutta, what do you make of because earlier you said that this is a fixed fight, but again, as I said, I don't see a motive for the Pakistan People's Party to provoke Zulfiqar Mirza, and then as I said, it's very clear that the MQM is probably going to rejoin the coalition today. So why would the government do this? Are you now convinced that maybe this is just Zulfiqar Mirza going off on a tirade for whatever reasons he had?
I think from Mirza's conference, 2 or 3 things, logical conclusions can be drawn. One of the fact is that as far as the conspiracy having been disclosed pertaining to the breaking of Pakistan, if that conspiracy was within the knowledge of Zulfiqar Mirza, then at the moment when he broke this news, then what irritation has taken place in the office of the president. So after Zulfiqar Mirza's press conference, no steps have been taken by the presidential office in this regard. Rather, you see the development that with such a serious allegation, again the coalition is in the offing. So the point arises as to whether this was not a news for the presidential office, or it was already within their knowledge that such a conspiracy was hatched against Pakistan. Now you have to see the steps subsequently going to be taken up by the government. Now this is a situation where somebody can well understand that this is not a news for the presidential office. This was already within their notice that something was there and something was not there. Now they are in a position to do everything. So the meaning thereby that they are in fact posing that everything is to be got resolved by the Supreme Court, as having been said by my brother Mr. Kaira,
Athar
that
Minallah,
now
yeah.
the matter is sub judice before the Supreme Court. I don't know whether the Supreme Court has issued any injunctive order in this regard, that that the government cannot take any action after having gone through such a situation and such news, which is a breaking
On the
news for
contrary, the
everyone.
Supreme Court has actually ordered the IG Sindh to take action without any discrimination. The Supreme Court was very firm about that today. It's time for me to take a short commercial break. When we return, I will allow Mr. Kaira to respond. I will ask Mr. Kaira to respond to these issues. But one thing that I do want to share before I go on the break is that if you remember, just about a week ago, there was a hurricane that was moving along the east coast of the United States. It made landfall in New York City, New Jersey, and other places. Within hours of the hurricane making landfall, President Obama, in his shirt sleeves, was holding a press conference talking about the state of emergency and the work that was being done by his government and the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And a week later, President Obama was in New Jersey meeting the people, offering them all the sustenance. Floods are once again ravaging Sindh. We have a political crisis of endemic proportions in Pakistan, but our President and our Prime Minister seem to have other things to do. Why is that? We'll talk about this after a short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Witness. Mr. Kaira, I have to admit that I was pretty upset when during a short while ago when you said that the President again was going to China and other places. Where is the President? Where are the Prime Minister when this country is going through floods, going through a political crisis? On Eid Day, they were nowhere to be seen except surrounded by high security. The Prime Minister was praying at Faisal Mosque. I mean, what's going on? Why is our leadership never in the country when we have a crisis?
Quatrina, as for, let me first say a few words. My brother said that Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza has made specific allegations regarding conspiracy against Pakistan. As I earlier said, that the government or any serious person has to think that whether this statement collaborates with something else or not. He has said that Americans wanted this. Okay, now we have to see that whether Americans wanted it or not. In fact, the Americans are supporting Pakistan. They are in aid to Pakistan to get rid of this war on terror. Okay, we disagree on certain things with Americans, but by and large, they want peace in this region because this peace will help themselves as well. So, I don't believe that, and especially this is a past story and unfortunately a very bad tradition in Pakistan, that we accused many parties. Yes, we were accused many times, the many political parties.
But opposition parties accused you. Said this is your own people accusing you now.
Okay, but our own people, if they leave the party, then this is a very bad tradition, unfortunately.
Senator Raisani hasn't left the party.
Unless we are on the positions, we are on the seats, then we keep quiet. After that, we say that yes, we had this,
Sir,
we had this.
wait a minute. I think that's a little unfair. I mean, I'm no fan of Dr. Mirza, but the man was in his seat. He had not left the party. He made the statement and resigned at the same time. He could have stayed. He could have stayed in place and taken the advantage of being an MPA.
First he resigned.
At the same time.
But he decided that he will resign from his political as well as the party offices, and then he will.
Do you wonder
he was
why?
for that.
Why did he resign?
This is up to his own sweet will.
Did it ever occur to you that he was so frustrated and angry about what was happening?
Quatrina, I don't want to enter in this controversy why he did it. This is his own opinion. But I will be very seriously looking into the allegations.
You will look into the allegations?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And as far as Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza is concerned, yes, Bhutta Sahab, Zulfiqar Mirza Sahab in past has alleged your party leadership and your party as well as on many issues. And unfortunately, in our political history, we see that many political leaders accusing the opponents that he is anti-Pakistan, he is anti-Pakistan. This is very unfortunate part in our political history.
But,
we should get rid of it and we should tolerate the things.
Kaira sir, we responded in the same coin. We responded in the same coin. But unfortunately, the allegations have been made by Mr. Zulfiqar Mirza in the other way, press conference, that has not been responded up till now.
Bhutta Sahab, we have responded it, but unfortunately there was a controversy between your party and MQM a few months ago or a few weeks ago. In that there were many things alleged on both the sides, but we didn't enter in any investigation, nor your party nor the other parties as well. But those allegations were very bad name in our history, unfortunately.
That allegation was not against the state.
Bitter situation.
The allegation was not against the state, the allegation was not against Pakistan, the allegation was not against the government. The allegation was against each other.
Bhutta Sahab, if you look into those allegations, please, I request you, look into those allegations. Your party leadership on the floor of the house as well as in the media simply alleged the other party.
But against another party, this is internal to the People's Party.
But that party has been alleged that to being anti-Pakistan.
But with regard to personal allegations, we don't have any vendetta against each other.
This style of politics or allegation is very unfortunate.
Because if there are personal allegations, supposing there is an accusation against myself, and there is an accusation against some X, Y or Z, then somebody is not supposed to be having a personal vendetta. Because this is not only an allegation.
Mr. Bhutta, let's bring
conspiracy. Sir, please don't mind it. I am just offering you that please look into those allegations. Just look into the speech of the leader of the opposition on the floor of the house, and that is allegation from both the sides. Yes, there will be many things clear. And that is very unfortunate. And at certain time, maybe I myself has accused you or your party. But this is very unfortunate part.
Okay,
we should
but
get rid of it,
right?
And make it sure. Pakistan People's Party is the party whose leaders Zulfiqar Bhutto, Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto, hundreds of thousands of Pakistan People's Party workers, only People's Party workers, they laid their life and they give their blood for Pakistan.
Mr. Kaira, let me ask you a simple question.
And I don't believe, strongly I say, I don't believe that any political force in Pakistan is anti-Pakistan.
Okay. First, Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza. Second, Senator Lashkari Raisani, both senior stalwarts of the Pakistan People's Party, attacked the federal interior minister. What is so important about the interior minister that the government feels so strongly compelled to first protect him? Number two, is Rehman Malik breaking up the People's Party from within?
Quatrina, before getting right answer, I may be unable to rightly answer this question because this is a very vague and large question. But let me put few things. There are certain portfolios which are very better, especially in these days when the law and order situation is very bad and the interior minister's job is very dirty, a very difficult job. He is fighting with the terrorists. Yes, there are certain issues and there are certain observations. Our party leadership in Balochistan says one thing and suppose on the information base, Rehman Malik says something else, but he is saying all that with sincerity, not with any bad intention. Of course.
Are you going to arrest Dr. Zulfiqar Mirza for the statements he's made?
Just let me. Okay. And the same in Karachi. Zulfiqar Mirza was the interior minister for Sindh, and Rehman Malik was interior minister for Pakistan. Yes, both have some difference of opinion on action or information on anything. So this can be a personal vendetta.
A personal vendetta.
Yes, if it happens that Lashkari Raisani and many other from Balochistan, they say this, that these are the allegations, these are the proofs that he is not doing right thing. Yes, he may not be doing right thing according to Lashkari Raisani or ABCD. He may not be doing right things according to Dr.
Zulfiqar Mirza.
But the party leadership, but the party itself, they are behind all those actions which Rehman Malik is doing it, because that is with the blessing of the parliament, with the cabinet, with the government, with the blessing of the Prime Minister and President.
Okay, I will address the same question to you,
Mr. Bhutta. You may differ, you may not.
Yeah, Mr. Bhutta, I'll put the same question to you and I'll bring it back to Mr. Kaira. Whenever there's a crisis in this country, why is the political leadership of every political party out of the country, including yours?
No, my leadership went only to perform Umrah, and today he is landing in Pakistan, and I don't think that there was any special occasion well known before to Mr. Nawaz Sharif that Zulfiqar Mirza is going to have a press conference, and in this regard Lashkari Raisani is also having a press conference. But in this regard, as far as the party stance is concerned, that of course is very much
but why do our political leaders desert us on occasions like Eid? whether there's a political crisis or whether it's Eid, I mean, on Christmas, Western leaders are seen moving around their people, and here our political leadership is never seen with the people. Good or bad, our leadership, opposition and government just take off.
But Quatrina, you see our track record previously when there was flood devastation in Pakistan. Both of the leaderships, Nawaz Sharif and Shahbaz, both were here in Pakistan and they devoted like anything. And now when Sindh is under devastation, Badin is under devastation, so many other districts of Sindh are under devastation, the only statement having been issued by Nawaz Sharif is the only statement wherein it has been said to the Punjab government that the Punjab government should also come forward and go to rescue the Sindh government and go to rescue the people who are engaged in the flood affected areas.
Okay, Mr. Bhutta, I'm short on time, so Mr. Kaira, really quick question. Where is the leadership of my country?
Quatrina, this flood situation in Sindh.
Last year and this year.
Now forget last year, come to this year.
I can't forget last year.
Prime Minister was very much there.
We can't forget last year.
Here. Sir, please.
We won't forget last year. But
the nation cannot forget last year.
Bhutta Sahab,
what he meant was, let's put it aside.
Bhutta Sahab, please don't catch my words. Please try to catch the essence. I'll be very obliged. Because I don't say forget those very, very difficult days. I say that we are sitting today and we are facing a special situation now.
Why is President Zardari leaving the country again when there's a crisis on both fronts?
President Zardari already visited on a planned visit, and at that time there was no flood.
Last year, yes. He never came back.
There was no flood in the country in this time.
Okay.
Now, if you want to discuss that issue, of course. Quatrina,
Sir, we are very short on time, so I'm saying,
because you have opened a very vast...
I'm asking, why is the President leaving again in the middle of a crisis?
He is not leaving now. He left for China on the day before Eid, before this crisis occurred. We should sequence the things. No? That's the right way. President is here, Prime Minister is here. This is not necessary that...
but you said the President is leaving again. Just earlier in this program, yes.
No, he left. I said
he left. Okay.
Yeah, before the crisis.
Now, is he going to be here to handle the current political crisis as well as the floods?
Provincial government is handling that. Federal government has to provide support to them. Mia Nawaz Sharif Saab has asked the provincial government of Punjab because that is their government. Okay. The President or Prime Minister cannot direct Mia Shahbaz Sharif to come forward and support the Sindh.
But I'm saying,
but let me.
Will we Prime see our President and Prime Minister
is very much there. Of course, Prime Minister is very much there. President is very much there. Our provincial government, as our ministers are working over there.
They are not going out to the people. They're just going to the state guest house in Karachi.
Unfortunately, I totally differ with your idea. Okay. In my view, the President, the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister should not visit frequently. They should visit only to selective areas and only to the briefing areas. Otherwise, if they go in the detail within the flood areas or in the affected areas, the whole law enforcement agency, the other forces who are working rescue work, they are to protect them because they need protection. And the district administration and all those people who has to do the rescue work, they are for the protocol duty. This is absolutely a wrong thing.
I agree, we shouldn't have that concept. I have run out of time,
this screen and your cameras are working everywhere. Yes. Our government eyes is working everywhere. The district management is working everywhere. Of course, the President, the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, they should visit certain areas as symbolic, but not sit there.
Okay,
because
we'll have to leave it there. We're out of time.
Problems.
Okay, we're out of time, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave it there. I'd like to thank
and last thing, I really want to say, I don't want to blame, but before alleging anyone else, one should look into his own past statements. Mia Nawaz Sharif Saab at the time of COD categorically said that let's resolve it, that we should not join, and in future we will not join hand with MKM, we'll totally isolate because of their character, their sincerity with Pakistan. This is history. I don't say myself.
Okay, but you're still joining hands with them.
Absolutely incorrect. This is not the wording of the COD. The COD is that none will go.
Naseer Bhutta never allowed it. She disagreed.
Okay, sir, this program, gentlemen, will be now cut off by
the was done by the People's Party first. Then, when after signing the COD, they went and sat with President Musharraf and signed an NRO.
my leader
and
differed
sign
with
an
this
NRO.
idea, and
Okay.
that's why this was not part of COD.
Part of the COD.
The violation
this is
started
an issue
with the
we'll get back
signatures
to.
of the NRO.
Afraid I'll have to leave it there. Mr. Qamar Zaman Kaira, earlier Mr. Athar Minallah, and in Lahore, Mr. Naseer Bhutta. Thank you all for having taken part in today's program. And again, I just will leave you now with a simple thought that today I was watching news coverage of the celebrations in Moscow City. Beautiful fireworks, being the whole building being lit up, different things happening, people cheering, people having a good time. And, you know, the sad part is that I was actually envious. While it was beautiful to look at, I was envious that nothing in our country, our people don't get a chance to celebrate. We are so mired down in crises, in problems, and the saddest part is that we the people feel that our leaders don't care about us. And that's a sad thing, isn't it? When we, the people, feel that the rulers, whoever they may be, I'm not even going to say it's a People's Party, we just feel that the ruling elite doesn't care. If I'm wrong, please write and tell me at Witness@Quatrina on our Facebook page. Thank you so much for having joined me. Quatrina Hossain saying Khuda Hafiz from Islamabad.